My video for June the 27th, 2019 is video number 3129. The title is Higher Self Over World Situation. Wow, I found it. Previously, I made a video that related to one I had watched. I remembered that Bruce Lipton was one of the featured guests in the talk, but I could not remember that lady that was with him. Her Hindu name is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati. I referenced the wrong video in the one I made, and I simply could not remember her name. No wonder. I don't even remember the name of personal friends who have been given spiritual names to replace their birth name. Anyway, the one I had been looking for came up as a recommended video when I was not even looking for it. That name again, with a J-I on the end of the last part, has a Ph.D., was raised in an American family in Hollywood, California, and graduated from Stanford University. She was completing her Ph.D. when she left America in 1996 to come and permanently live at Parmarth, the ashram in, forgive me for not being able to pronounce these names, in Rishikesh, India. She is a renowned female spiritual leader in India. She is Secretary General of Global Interfaith WASH, W-A-S-H, all caps, Alliance, launched by UNICEF, the world's first alliance of religious leaders for water, sanitation, and hygiene. So, what did I glean as I listened to this video a second time? Let me tell you some of it. First of all, no, I did not get a haircut. Yes, I did shave my beard much closer. It's not gone, but it's a very close cut. And I did a lot of trimming of around my face as well. So let's get that out of the way right off the bat. Now, one of the things at the end of the video is Bruce Lipton makes the point of faking it till you make it. I still cringe every time I hear somebody say that, because to me it means be a hypocrite until you can become genuine, or lie to yourself and or to others until you can reach a place where you can be in the truth. Well, what is the truth? Yes, I am convinced that Ron Van Dyke is just a temporary incarnation of a spiritual being that lives in a higher dimension. Okay? That's what the video talks about. That's what Bruce Lipton, and I wish I knew her American name. I really dislike it. And I mean, I know people, I have close friends that I don't recognize their name, because when they put it as their quote Hindu name, I don't relate it to their name of the person that I know with the name that is on their birth certificate. In any case, folks, I have been wrestling with spiritual ideas all of my life. I didn't realize till much later on, probably in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, I began to wake up a little bit to the fact that not everything I had been taught when I was younger was true. In fact, the idea that the Bible was the inspired word of God is one of the things that I missed. And I don't know how I missed it, because obviously the God that's quoted in much of the Old Testament, the jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the children and visiting the iniquities of the fathers unto the children of the third and fourth generation. I mean, these things, now I recoil when I think of them. Obviously, that is not the omnipotent, omniscient, loving creator that started the whole thing. And no, I don't understand why that loving creator would have even allowed the infiltration of dark demonic forces, or even light forces masquerading and playing a game with humanity. I don't see why we would have been abandoned unless there's a higher purpose somewhere. And I'd like to see the higher self be raised up, not just in me, obviously, folks. It wouldn't be any good if it just happened to me. I want it to happen to the collective, or in the collective, at least where most of humanity is redeemed and not lost. Because all of humanity, from my perspective, and from the perspective of the God that I thought I knew, loves everyone equally, does not show preference. Obviously, those that rise up in this world to political and spiritual power and authority, they don't have the same concept of loving. In fact, their whole game plan is division. It's to create enmity against factions, not to heal, not to bring anything together, but to separate. And while I admire someone going to another country and becoming famous and involved with UNICEF and things that, to me, are part of a dark agenda. Okay, they're not good things, but I certainly resonated with the words that this lady speaks, and I didn't find any disagreement with anything she said that jumped out at me. The only thing that jumped out at me in the whole thing was Bruce Lipton saying, "Fake it till you make it." That's the only thing that jumped out at me, and saying, "Ooh, I cringe when I hear that," because it doesn't register as a legitimate path to spiritual awakening or development. And yet, at the same time, what part of my being do I speak from? I believe I have a higher self. There have been times that I felt like I was connected to that higher self, but I haven't been able to maintain it as the standard for my life by any stretch of the imagination. On the contrary, I have forgotten and reach a place where I question some of the experiences that I had when I was younger. Did they really happen? What's the truth of that experience? Was it really God that was speaking to me? Or was it some angel of light masquerading as God? I still live to see this world transformed. I don't want to live for just another world, that the only way we can get there is to die in this one. That does not make sense. I want this one to be redeemed. I want humanity, as much as is possible, to be redeemed, to be liberated, truly set free from the bondage and the deception that has gone on for millennia. I don't know that I know the truth completely. The only truth that I accept and think I know completely is that we're supposed to love one another. I hope we get that soon. Thank you for listening, and namaste.